around him higher. Ufgoim was a Chassidish Yid. So in this book that I'm reading, there's a little story where he called somebody up on the phone, someone that he knew, Adam Chashuv, and the guy was in a bad mood. So Reb Mendel says to him, "I don't understand you. You're a chassid. How could a chassid be in a bad mood? The chassid is supposed to always be Simcha." So this man says to Reb Mendel in Hebrew, or Yiddish, whatever language he spoke to him, it wasn't English, I can guarantee you that. The teuchen is, you never woke up on the left side of the bed. You never woke up in a bad mood. I'm not in such a good mood. Happens. So if you remember that Mendel, you knew that Mendel was very quick and very sharp. That Mendel never owed anybody an answer. Before you finish your question, he had his answer. He was very sharp. So this young man says to Reb Mendel, "You never woke up on the left side of your bed?" So Reb Mendel got quiet, very uncharacteristic quiet. A good man, young man. And he said very slowly, he thought about it. He says, "No, I never woke up on the left side of the bed." But he said it deliberately. At the same getracht, he thought about it. He said, "No. Allemaal besimcha." One of the simonim von a chassid is a samer, a freilich. A chassidim lernen freiliche Yid. And there's a lot of chassidus on why there's a connection between simcha and chassidus. Besides for the fact that simcha means you live in the Eibishter's world. Besides for the fact that simcha means that in my world the Eibishter is a balabos and you can trust him. The Eibishter is okay, you know what I'm saying? He's not going to drop the ball. The Eibishter fear the Welt is a good zach. That the Eibishter is my pilot is a wonderful thing. I don't always understand, and if I have a little seichel, I understand that I don't have to understand. But the Eibishter fear the Welt, it's exactly the way it's supposed to be. There's a famous story. But the Zelt, the Sichos, that the Alter Rebbe was listening to two of his chaverim, Talmidei Magid, Tzadikim, they were for sure. They may have even been in the Madreg of Tzadik Gomer. Talmidei Magid. And each one was saying what they would do if they were the Eibishter. The story goes with names, which I don't remember. One of them said that if he was the Eibishter, he would be much more gvuredik. He would be much more exacting. He wouldn't be so patient. You misbehave, you get a slap on the wrist right away, everybody gets in line. If the Eibishter's chayra einish is bepashtus, so you don't do anything which is get you an einish. And the other one said, "Faket, if he be the Eibishter, he'd be even more benevolent. He would be even more patient. Merfar cooking, give people a chance." The Alter Rebbe listened to his chaverim argue what they would do if they were the Eibishter, and the Alter Rebbe said, "As ich will gewinn der Eibishter, wollte getan, Punkt für der Eibishter tut." If I was God, I would know what God knows, and I would do exactly Punkt für der Eibishter tut. Why? Because the Eibishter, he knows what he's doing. The Eibishter für the Welt. So the word from Alten Rebbe, which is a little bit connected to this word, so I'll share it. As it steht in Siddur, man kommt doch von Yom Kippur. Ata yedeya roza yelam. Right, we say it in Tachnan. In Yom Kippur, Sukkos, we don't say it. But in Kishma Shalamita, when we say Tachnan, we say Ata yedeya roza yelam. The Eibishter knows roza yelam, the secrets of the creation. Ata yedeya roza yelam. So the Alter Rebbe said, roza teire veisen miroich. Rozei Elam is no Ata Yedeya. Alter Rebbe said, Rozei Teira, the secrets of the Teira we know also. Aber Rozei Elam, the secrets of Teva, the secrets of Hashgacha Pratis, the secrets of the world is no Ata Yedeya, no the Eibishter. Only the Eibishter knows why the world runs the way it runs. But he knows what he's doing. And if you can trust the Eibishter, you can be besimcha. First of all, you don't have to worry. And the Rikid is, Lakel gamer alai. I don't have to finish. The Eibishter finishes. I have to do my part. And the Eibishter bavorens. The Eibishter protects me and takes care of me. So first of all, I'm not worried. I'm not afraid. And second of all, my life is not a terror. My life is not, like I said before, I really think this is a good Haggadah. a person who doesn't believe in the Eibishter, it lives like an animal. Animals survive. Animals have very simple lives. You know that animals' life is very simple. They have three needs. Three needs. They need to eat food, right? Yeah. They need to make sure they don't become food for somebody else. And they need to have babies. It's not complicated, very simple. The truth of the matter is, if you're misbeinen, I mentioned but an animal has three needs. He needs to eat and not be eaten, and pruervu haben Kinder. That's an animal. Yeah. So the whole life of an animal is how he's going to survive. How he's going to manage. Number one, to eat food. Number two, to make sure he doesn't become food for somebody else. And number three, they should help that haben Kinder. Yeah, that's what an animal is. It's called surviving. You thought you were going to get away with it. A guten Moed, a freiliche Moed, a gesunde Moed, a lebendige Moed. Aber die Rikide, die Moed, das nimmt sich werden, al kol Moed im Kulach, ein ganzes Jahr. Das ist ein Simcha und Bracha und Atzlacha. Okay, l'chaim le'bracha, l'chaim. Wait, a minute. A human being doesn't survive. A human being doesn't survive. A human being lives. A lept. Which means, yes, he has to eat. I don't know how many people it's realistic for. You want to make sure, just 1 second. You want to make sure you don't get eaten. For most people, that's not or machshava kreve. It's not in the foreground of one's imagination unless you're living in the middle of a war zone. And with Hashem's help, you want ayidaf machen noch ayiden. Pruervu. The Frierdiker Rebbe said at the first mitzvah in Teilis, Pruervu is ayidaf wissen. The erste Sach was ayidaf wissen. The first thing a Jew needs to know. As ayidaf machen noch ayiden. The Frierdiker Rebbe said, why is the first mitzvah in Teilis Pruervu? Because a Jew, ayidaf wissen, the erste Sach is ayidaf machen noch ayiden. A Jew has to know the first thing is that you have to create another Jew. This means in every madrega. A human being lives, a lept. An animal survives. Are you a person that doesn't have a God, Rahman al-Islam? And you know how hard it is to believe that there's no God? You know how much his abundance, you know what it takes to believe that there's no God? It's easier to believe that there is a God. But it's to avoid the kosher about it. To become an apokaitis is a madrega nailis beyesin in Satchik and Eged. I have it told many times. I'm waiting to convert. I have Rabbi Fuchs all the show. My Melamed. That the Frierdiker Rebbe, the Frierdiker Lubavitcher Rebbe had a seder that whenever he wrote a letter, if it was written to a Yid who was a Zohar, a man, he would write, Vasik v'chosid vav vav ches aleph yud aleph. Vasik v'chosid ishirei elikim. Every person he wrote to, even not given a yid, if he was a male and he was a Jew, he wrote Vasik v'chosid ishirei elikim. So there was a yid that the Frierdiker Rebbe knew, maybe he was even a kodev, but that's like a halten for an apokaitis. He's an atheist. He believes, not he doesn't believe in God, he believes that there's no God. Nobody doesn't believe in God. Some people didn't think about it, unfortunately, but to believe that there's no God is an emunah. It's not the head of the emunah, it's an emunah. That's not the emunah. So he got a letter from the previous Rebbe, and the Frierdiker Rebbe calls him Ishirei Lakim. He was insulted. So he said to the Frierdiker Rebbe, how could you call me Ishirei Lakim? Ich bin doch an apokaitis. You're ruining my whole public image. You're calling me Ishirei Lakim. So I got to Rabbi Fuchs, my Melamed. 50 years ago, Tafshil Lamed Vav, he taught me, Baba Basra. And he told me the story then, I was 10 years old. It is the Selde Maise Yemelt in Cheder. So the Frierdiker Rebbe said to him, in Yiddish, Nit von Spielen in Korten und Klappen Semitschkes wird man ein apokaitis. Von dem wird man ein Boer. An apokaitis is shona upirish. The Frierdiker Rebbe told him, when you play cards and you pop sesame seeds, you don't become an apokaitis. You become a numbskull, an empty head, a nobody homnik. an idiot. An apokeda is a shana, he learned Torah. And he understood the Torah. Upirish. It's a high madrega. An apokeda is a very high madrega. But a person who, Rahmana Litzlan, lives and tells himself that he doesn't live in the Eivish's world is always afraid. He's afraid. Why? Because it makes sense to be afraid. You live in a jungle. You live in a world, in a universe, where everything that exists is a mistake. That's what the Shita is. If you don't believe in the Eibishter, the fact that we are here is a mistake. It happened. Everything is a mistake. You walk in the street, it's a mistake. You get hit by a car, it's a mistake. You don't get hit by a car, it's a mistake. So you're afraid. Almot made it. You're always afraid. But if you have an Eibishter, like the Frierdiker Rebbe said, you have one God in two worlds, you're not afraid. You live in Eibishter's world. And that's the Simcha that comes from Munah B'tachon Eibishter. But there's another thing about Simcha. And also, this also goes both ways. You don't know which comes first, the chicken or the egg. You missed the whole physics lesson, Moshe. You came late. I asked a question, yeah? When you heat something up, it creates higher energy, right? So which comes first, the heat or the higher energy? When you cool something down, it has lower energy. Which comes first? The lower energy or the cooling it down? It really works both ways. This is water. The mice says it doesn't make a difference. It goes both ways. But it's in psychology, in Lundis, in human nature, it's a question. There's another thing. There's another thing that has to do with Simcha. And this is a whole nother parsha. It's very connected, but it is a separate sugya. And that is, a person cannot be sameach until he gets over himself. The Chassidus is called Bittul. Bittul, it's a simple word. It's a simple word that ruins a lot of people's lives. Yeah, in other words, in addition to the whole inyan, that Simcha is the source of Emunah B'tachon, and Simcha is the Teitzah of Emunah B'tachon. A Yid who lives in Eibishter's world is a Sameach. A Yid is a Sameach lives in Eibishter's world. There's another whole thing. And that is that in order to be B'Simcha, you got to get past yourself. And then my mother explained it very simple. If a person thinks about himself a whole day, he's always thinking, es kommt mir das and es kommt mir jens, I deserve this and I deserve this, and why don't I have this and why don't I have that? A person who's busy with himself a whole day can never be happy. When a person gets over himself, when a person stops thinking that the whole world revolves around him, so whatever is okay. Whatever is okay. So the Maimonides Chassidus, when they talk about Simcha, they talk about these two inyanim. They talk about Emunah and they talk about Bittul. That Simcha brings a person to Emunah, or Emunah brings a person to Simcha. And the same is also true. Simcha brings a person to Bittul, and Bittul brings a person to Simcha. Vergessen wegen sich. Nicht trachten wegen sich a ganzen Tag and a ganzen Nacht. Not to a whole day be busy with self. And for some people it's kind of obvious. And for other people it seems impossible. I mean, it's an interesting phenomenon. You know, they say, Azay zog de Welt. I don't know who made it up, but they say, the Welt zogt, that the Pliny ben Pliny said, and some machlekes who Pliny ben Pliny is, but it doesn't matter. Many Plinies ben Pliny said that when I was 20 years old, my whole life was burdened by the fact that everybody was sitting and looking at me. I couldn't live. Everyone's looking at me. I walked in, people are looking at me. Everyone is judging me, right? This is the big bad word today, right? The young generation. Everyone is judging. Don't judge. Thou shalt not judge. Don't judge. Don't judge because you don't want to be judged, right? Don't. But the kid says, everyone is busy looking at me. Everyone's looking at me. Alle gucken auf mir. And I can't live because I have to please this one, I have to please this one. And then one day I woke up and I said, you know what? I don't care. Everyone's looking at me. I don't care. You're looking at me. Look at me all you want. I'm going to do whatever I want. And then one day I woke up and I discovered no one was ever paying any attention to me in the first place. No one was thinking about you. So the funny thing is, everybody knows this word, and everybody goes through the cycle. It's a funny thing. You go through a stage where you're trying very, very hard to get over yourself, but you can't help yourself. Everyone is thinking about me. Then you say, I don't care. And then it takes many, many, many years, and finally you wake up one day and say, you know what? Not I don't care. No one thinks 2 cents about me. Keine tracht nicht wegen mir. And I don't mean it in the negative sense. Ich will es herausbringen in Avoida, und es ist nicht das Ding. I don't want to make a joke out of this. This is an Indian in Avoida. It's life. It's Avoida. It's Avoida. I'll tell you what. I probably shared this before, but it's really worthwhile repeating. And the truth is, it's a oimik. It's a tifa word. And I have to figure out how it connects to Linyanenu, but it connects. I am a public speaker by profession. I talk, I teach Torah. That's what I do. I don't Farbrengen, I teach. I'm a lamed. So Zalman Baumgartner, says to me one day, Yossi, you have to take voice lessons. If you're not going to take voice lessons, you're going to lose your voice. People who speak all day long, they hurt their vocal cords. So I went to a chazan, to a professional chazan, who teaches voice lessons. And I asked him, I said, I want to pay you to teach meditation. I was yoitza by asking him. I never followed up, I never did it. But at least I made a shtadlos. I went to talk to the chazan. I said to this guy, that somebody who's a real chazan said to me, I need to take voice lessons, otherwise I'm going to lose my voice. I have to learn how to speak correctly. So I said to this chazan, I want you to teach me how to speak correctly. So he looks at me and he says, no. You want me to teach you how to unlearn how to speak incorrectly. You hear the word? I go over to this man, I say to him, I want you to teach me, I use my panosis for my mouth, my voice. I speak, I teach, I talk. He says to me, I want you to teach me how to talk correctly. He says, no. You want me to teach you how to unlearn how to speak incorrectly. So I looked at him and I said to him, ich verstehe dich nicht. So he tells me, I'm in the Kedach. Children scream all day long. Children run around, they play, they scream. You ever see a child who's hoarse? How come children never lose their voice? He asks me that. So I didn't know the answer. He says, you know why children lose their voice? Because the person who screams all day long, if he uses his voice correctly, will never lose it. Meaning the way the Eibishter made a person, he speaks correctly. Things happen. It's a complicated situation. You start to speak because of reasons that are not part of the teva of the person. You begin to speak incorrectly, and then you ruin your voice, and you can even lose chas v'shalom your ability to speak. See, this chazan says to me, you don't have to learn how to speak. You have to unlearn how to speak wrong, so b'meila you'll speak right. It's a moed de kavod. And this inyan applies in a million scenarios. A child is playing, yeah? I know that you come from Detroit, and I know that you learned in yeshiva, but I forgot your name. Don't tell me. What's your name?
Yaakov.
No, your last name. Weinstein. Yeah. Children play. Children run around. Yeah. Children run around. They have fun. A child falls. He scrapes his knee. Starts to cry. He wakes up. His mommy and tati try to give him a hug and a kiss. He's running away. Ever weiter spielen. Yeah. Little kids, little children, kleine Kinderlach. When they run around, they never stop to think about themselves. They're living life. They're running around. They're having a good time. They're playing around. Why? Because they're free. They're free because nobody made them aware of themselves. Nobody said, you shouldn't do this because if you're going to do this, it's not going to look right. Parents do that to kids all the time. You know that. Parents tell their kids, you shouldn't do this, and this is not the way you're supposed to raise a child. Which is a whole other schmooze. But children are not aware of themselves. Something happens, I don't know when it happens, but it happens. And you start to see yourself. The minute you start to see yourself, you start to question yourself. And the minute you start to question yourself, you start to hesitate. You can't just do. have to think, how's it going to look? What's this one going to say? This one's going to say. This happens to every person. To many people, I would say. Maybe not everybody, but most people go through such a hishtalshelus. And there's a sugya chassidus that accounts for this, you should know also. And it's all this you know, this whole Farbrengen is one Maimer chassidus. Chayesora. From the Rebbe Rashab, it's an Ayin Tes. From the Rebbe Zogazunzain, it's Tov Shin Yud Beis. And from the Friedrich Rebbe, it's 3 Maimorim and Tzadik Dalet. V'Yosfa and of Hashem Simcha. It's one Maimer, Chayesora. If you want to look it up, Chayesora, Tov Ayin Tes, Chayesora, Tov Shin Yud Beis. This is the Maimer on Simcha and Bittul and Amunah. Everything that we're talking about is this one Maimer chassidus. It's a good Maimer to learn. If you want to learn one Maimer, learn this one. And you have it to the Mittel Rebbe from the Sach Rebbeim. It starts with the Alter Rebbe's Tachas Hashem L'Kecha. Tachas Hashem L'Evar Hashem L'Kecha B'Simcha and Pashas Kisavi and look at the Teira. The Mittel Rebbe's Maimer is also Chayesara. And you could learn the Maimer. You'll learn it. I'm supposed to remember your Grossbaum. Yeah, Grossbaum. I know your father, it's a problem, yeah? Learn the Chayesara, This Chayesara from all the Rebbeim, the same Maimer. So the Maimorim talk about Adam and Chava. The Maimorim talk about Adam and Chava. It's based on a Zoyar. You have it in Eter also. Barich is more Barich. That is a Hemshech. That Adam and Chava lived in Gan Eden. Adam and Chava lived in Gan Eden. And their whole life was serving the Eibishter. Yeah? The whole life was serving the Eibishter. And then it says, the Eitzitas Tevara, and they opened up their eyes. They saw, and it became a whole problem, and they had to find out later. The whole story in the Chumash, everybody knows the story. So the question which is asked in all the Forum is, before the Eitzitas Tevara, they were not aware of themselves. After the Eitzitas Tevara, they became aware of themselves. In other words, by eating from the Eitz Hadas, they became smarter. Before they ate from the Eitz Hadas Tevara, they did not understand as a nit patzik amagei tarum erumim, unclothed, without clothes. So there's the question of chayta nisker. You do an aveda and you get smarter. Before you do the aveda, you didn't know. After you do the aveda, you do know. And the Rebbe says that Rambam asks this question also. And you don't have to know this from the Rambam because the Rebbe Rashab brings the entire Pedic. Made in Nevuchim, Chelik Aleph Pedic Beis, the Rebbe Rashab quotes word for word, Nekudas Hamayim. The whole Pedic. And the Rambam says basically what Chassidus says, and it's based on Isaiah, but in his signet. The Rambam says that there's something called, in the Rambam Velach Mekatzes, and I want to speak more the Pnimistic in it. The Rambam says that there's 2 levels of Seichel, of intelligence. There's Muskalos, and there's Muforsamis. Muskalos means ideas. Muforsamis means also ideas. But ideas that everybody knows, you just notice. And he says before Adam and Chava ate from Eitz Hadas, they were busy with Muskalos, with real ideas. Because they were busy with real ideas, they didn't see themselves. After they ate from the Eitz Hadas, they fell from the Madrega of Muskalos to the Madrega of Muforsamis. In other words, their whole seichel was knowing things that everybody knows anyway. They were just, in quotes, discovering it. So that's why Vayiruk Yerumim. As they state in the Rambam. In Chassidus, it's based on a Zoyar. The Lashonos that are brought is Murgash and Bilti Murgash. This is the way it's framed in my Mari Chassidus. Murgash and Bilti Murgash. Before Chet Eitz Hadas, Adam and Chava served Hashem, and they were not aware that they were serving Hashem. They didn't feel themselves. They did what they needed to do, and they never stopped to notice that they were doing it. All that mattered was serving the Eibishter. After Chet Eitz Hadas, they continued to serve the Eibishter. But they noticed that they were serving the Eibishter. That was the effect of the Chet. Before they ate from Eitz Hadas Tevara, they did what Hashem said. After they ate from Chet Eitz Hadas Tevara, they did what Hashem said. The difference was, before they ate from Eitz Hadas Tevara, they didn't see that they were serving the Eibush, and all they did was serve. After Chet Eitz Hadas, they were aware that they're serving the Eibush. That is the difference between a child and an adult. Children live. Children are free. It's interessante Sache. Children are free. Why? Because they don't think about themselves. They think about what they want to do. They just think what they want to do. Whatever they want to do. It doesn't necessarily have to be große hohe Sachen. It could be play a game. But when the child is playing a game, he's not thinking, I'm playing a game. He's playing. When you reach a certain age, you start to see, you become a part of the story. And when you start to see yourself playing a game, it interferes with the game you're playing. When you're learning a piece of Gemara and you're not just thinking about the Gemara, you're thinking about you, it interferes with understanding the Pshat in the Gemara. Or the Maimach Chassidus. Or you're sitting with your 1,000 film and you're being Yisbayin in Chassidus. You think about the Eibishter, yeah? But you think about the fact that you're thinking about the fact that you're thinking about the Eibishter. It's a hell of a hester. It's a hell of a hester. It's one of those phenomena. As theft, it happens. It happens. And you got to get over yourself. You have to stop being a part of your story. You have to live your life and get past yourself. This is called Bittul. Bittul. Bittul means I'm serving the Eibishter. But I'm not serving the Eibishter. I'm serving the Eibishter. There's no I. It's very easy to say. It's very, very easy. It's gering zu sagen, it's schwer zu tun. Aber eine Sache sicher. When a person gets past himself, he's free. And a free person is a happy person. And this may be even more than a munah. You know, I asked you before a shaila. Which comes first, the simcha or the amunah? Because I have amunah, I have simcha, or because I have simcha, I have amunah? The pashat the teretz is because I believe in the Eibishter, I'm sameach. But b'pnimis hanyonim, if a person has simcha, he has amunah. You cannot have simcha. If you're happy, you live in Hashem's world. It's the only place happiness comes from. And the simcha brings the amunah. So now the same question you have now. Does the simcha bring the bittul? Does the bittul bring the simcha? For bittul to bring simcha is a lot more difficult than for simcha to be bittul. A person who's happy forgets about himself. If you're busy with yourself a whole day, you're miserable. You're miserable. The worst thing you could think about is yourself. Why? It's such a distraction. It's such an interference. And people do it for years and years and years and years. Mavish. Think about it. Why? Because you think the other guy is thinking about you. The other guy is thinking about himself. He's not thinking about you. He doesn't have time for you. He's busy thinking about himself. So you could say to yourself, why should I think about myself? I can think about what I have to do. Chassidim zijn freilige. Chassidim zijn, even in our generation. But for sure, if you saw the even from the earlier times, Chassidim were happy people. Happy people. Be'emes happy people. There wasn't an act. A happy person forgot about himself. He forgot about himself a long time ago. I'll give you a very simple dogma, yeah? There's a halach in Shulchan Aruch leises geidedu. There's a halach in Shulchan Aruch leises geidedu. Leises geidedu means you're not allowed to make a group into subgroups. Right? What does it mean, leises geidedu? If there's a minyan in a shul, you're not allowed to start a second minyan. Don't tell that to the Babich because they didn't get that message. 770 never got that halacha. Huh? There's a minyan in a shul. Excuse me, I'm davening. You're disturbing me. Don't start a second minyan. Okay, I'll wait for you to finish. No! The takana in this shul is only one minyan. If you come late, you daven without a minyan, you can't make a second minyan. These are the rules. It's in Shulchan Aruch. This is good to do, yeah? So what's the gather of leises going to do? When is it also to start a second minyan? And when is it not also to start a second minyan? Now I'm not speaking halacha now because I'm not a Rav and don't want anybody should misunderstand. I'm not paskening a shayla. I'm making a point. The answer is depends how much of a metzius you are. If the world revolves around me, there can only be one minyan. Not in this shul, the whole world. If the world doesn't revolve around me, make a minyan 10 feet away. The steps nicht. Now, everybody knows this experience. You're standing next to a guy in shul and you don't like him. He's 2 feet away and he's irritating you and he's getting on your nerves and you can't concentrate. If he's davening loud, he doesn't let you think. If he's davening quiet, you're thinking what he's thinking, yeah? On the other side, the guy standing, he's rubbing shoulders with you, but you happen to like him because he's your kid. So there's no problem. Von euch sprach. Als da Platz in Herzen, da Platz beim Tisch. If there's room in the heart, there's room in the Rebbe Fiedek hat mal gesagt, The Frierdiker Rebbe was not a well man. And he was sitting upstairs by the Suda, and somebody said, Mishter dem Rebbe, the macht dem Rebbe menk, you're making the Rebbe uncomfortable. So the Rebbe said, a Yid macht me nicht eng. A Jew cannot make me uncomfortable. The Frierdiker Rebbe said, a Yid kann me nicht machen eng. This was, why? Because the Yid, the Rebbe had room for you in his heart, he had room for you. So you should know the halachas of Leitis Gaidudu depends on the people in the Gdida, you understand? One Leitis Gaidudu says we need outside of our shul, Dalad Meis Pasad, it can't be another shul, not in the next block, in the next neighborhood. Why Leitis Gaidudu? And in another place the shuls are by standing next to the other. In each shul there's 4 minyanim going on at the same time and nobody has any problems. Favos, get over yourself. Now I'm not saying that this is the halacha, but it is the hisbonenus. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. I get into trouble all the time. I daven out loud. It's a disease that I have. I say Baruch Shem Kvein Mechusay every day like it's Yom Kippur. So what do you do Yom Kippur? I whisper it. Ich darf noch was, ich will konzentrieren. And shut up, stop talking. And it's true, I should keep quiet. And sometimes people involve me. So when does someone disturb somebody else's davening? Why? He's davening loud? No. When he's davening loud, then he gets on your nerves. So the other guy davens loud. Why is he getting on your nerves? There's a lot of reasons. One of them is because you don't like the guy. Another one is because that guy is davening, and he's thinking Pirush Hamilas. He's talking to the Eibishter. You're trying to get through the words, and he's ruining your davening. Because he's davening with a little kavana, he makes you uncomfortable, so you can daven shah. Extended. Why? Because I'm David Smarkham. Emes? Yeah, I'm happy you're standing over here. I need you very much. You were here last time for being an echet, yeah? Very good. Anyway, wait 1 second. So imagine you could stand next to another guy in shul and he's davening out loud and he doesn't disturb you. What's that ayah? He's davening better? No. You're davening better. How is your davening better? Either you don't care anymore, that's a possibility. But there's also a possibility that you got over yourself. If you get over yourself, there's room. It's how it is. It's a metzias, bepel mamish, and I know it from both sides. If you get over yourself, there's room for everybody in the room. If you don't get over yourself, there's no room for 2 people in 1 room. Simcha allows you to get over yourself. You get over yourself, you can be b'simcha. Now, it's 2 sides of the same coin. If you're sameach, you stop thinking about yourself. If you stop thinking about yourself, you're sameach. Which route is easier? Which seder is easier? Is it easier to be b'simcha so that you stop thinking about yourself? Or is it easier to, I don't think it's a question. It's a lot easier to be b'simcha than to get over yourself. Getting over yourself is nicht pashut. So the Chassidus teaches simcha. A Yid is ein freilich all the time. Now, you can't be freilich all the time if you're jealous, if you hold grudges, if you have cheshboinus. Right? Who's not jealous? Huh? Who doesn't hold grudges? Who doesn't have cheshboinus? The answer is the liars. His name is Maxima. What's Vilstav? I know him, Maxima. Levi Yitzchak. You know him. Yeah. Every time I see him, I ask him his name. I know who he is, but I forget every time to ask him again. It's a Moshe Yitzchak. It's an age thing. Maybe. Ich bin a Metzias. Was kommen da? So maybe you should come in Farbrengen. No. Then you'll become a Metzias. 1 second. So Chassidus teaches, as a Mensch is besimcha, vergesst wegen sich. It's true. And some people, it's very hard. You know, they dance on Kingston Avenue. I don't know if you've ever tried it. They dance on Kingston Avenue night after night after night till 6 o'clock in the morning. So in the beginning of the night, it's the little kids. After a little while, it's the show-offs. The people know how to dance. It's a whole situation. But then eventually, they all go to sleep. And what's left? So there's the period where the drunks ruin the dancing, from 1 till 1:30, and then the drunks fall asleep, and then what's left? Chassidim, a lot of them. Come at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, hundreds of people dancing. Try it, taste it. Zaytoyim. You go into the dance, you feel really weird. What are these people singing? But you get into that dance, and you go around, and you go around, and you go around, and you go around, and you forget, and you become a part of it. And you become a part of it, and you forget about yourself. And I don't know how to say this nicely, but it feels very good to get over yourself. It feels very good to stop being busy a whole day and a whole night thinking who's looking at me. And it's a Yesod in Chassidus. Das nicht Chabad sagt, das Baal Shem Tov sagt. The Baal Shem Tov was a big tzaddik, a great tzaddik. The Baal Shem Tov said about himself that every time he finishes davening and he remains in the Shalom of a guf, it's a nes. And the Baal Shem Tov was not a liar. The Baal Shem Tov, the Baal Shem Tov, the Rebbe gesagt, Sachmal, the Rebbe repeated this many times. And the Heilige Baal Shem Tov had gesagt of sich, Baal Shem said about himself, every time I finish davening and my neshama remains in my guf, it's a nes. It states in Shivchei Baal Shem Tov, it says in Shivchei Baal Shem Tov, that when the Baal Shem Tov davened, he had a water barrel, a chovis mit Wasser, a barrel, a fast mit Wasser. Und der Wasser hat sich geträuselt. The water in the barrel was shaking. There was no earthquake. The Baal Shem Tov had gedaven, Baal Shem Tov was davening, and a doimim showed Yira B'Poil. Azay stated Shivchei Baal Shem Tov. It's considered, it's a reliable sefer. Shivchei Baal Shem Tov was written by a man who knew the Baal Shem Tov. It's not the story was like Gevara Shpeter. The Baal Shem Tov would daven, and the water in the room where he davened would shake from Yira. It was a doimim. Heilige Baal Shem Tov. And the Baal Shem Tov, when afraid lecherid, the misnagdim on gesagt of Baal Shem Tov, he's mevaza covered atayre. Why he dances? He sings and he dances. Azar groise tzaddik, azar eren sterid, wie kommt to tanzen? Dancing and singing is for proste Menschen. Big tzaddikim are very earnest. Now I am not going to speak for the Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov need me to speak for him. The Baal Shem Tov was a Rebbe. And everything he did was teaching us Eron Avedis Hashem. And the Baal Shem Tov taught as a Yid Dav Zayin Freilach. It says in Sfarim, it's brought to Chassidus, that Chachmei Emes, all Yidden, who are the Shaykhs, the Pnimis HaTeira, all the Mekubalim, Hirachikul Ma'ed Midas HaAtzvus. Because Atzvus is me. And me is not the Eibishter. And Heber Atzvus, Simcha, is the Eibishter. Forget about yourself. So the best way to do this is to start off with the Simcha. To get over yourself is very hard. It's very, very hard. To be Freilach, it's not so hard. There was a lady here in Crown Heights. I'm not going to say her name, but she's already lying in El Memes. I don't know the Prati Adave, but she told the Rebbe, Diza Umedike. By nature, she was a sad person. She wasn't a happy woman. And she got the Shver and Leb Nechet. She came from Russia, you understand, that generation. And she told the Rebbe that she's sad all the time. So the Rebbe told her, go to Chasanas, even when you're not invited, and dance. So again, I was never on this side of the Ezes Noshim, but when I heard the story, people say when she went to a wedding, she danced everybody else out. And no one knew why. They just assumed that she liked Mesamech. The Rebbe gesagt, the Rebbe told her, go to a chasana and dance. And she was so good at it that everybody thought she was the happiest person in the world, but they didn't know that this was her terufa for her sadness. In other words, when you're around people who are besimcha, and you allow yourself to get caught up in that simcha, it helps you get over yourself, which is a wonderful, wonderful solution to all the tzaras in the world. Mamish, you want to have a good life, stop thinking about yourself. But I am busy with myself. As soon as I finish with this problem, and this problem, and this problem, and this problem, I'll stop thinking about myself. But the problems never go away. They have babies. Kinder, and eine klach, and eine klach. Chaba so kinder. That's how it is. But this is a Yesod in Chassidus. It is. It's Yesod Chassidus, I'm Simcha. Allemaal freilich. Easter is Man Simcha Seinu, this is Chag HaSukkos, Man Simcha Seinu. And we take Simcha al Kol HaShana Kula. Medaveh said that Simcha is Avodas Hashem. People think Simcha is for little kids, Simcha is for fools. Simcha is for Yidden. The Rambam says a Yid is a freilicher. A Jew is a joyous person. And he's joyous not because his life is perfect. He's joyous because he lives in the Eibishter's world. He's joyous because the Eibishter said you have to be b'simcha. And you work on simcha. And you automatically find yourself having an easier time with your emunah and betochen. And you certainly save a lot of money on therapy. Well, I'm taking away your parnasa, Moshe Yitzchak. Yeah. If you get over yourself, so then you have fewer problems. You have fewer. The problems don't go away. They just Mackenzie bear sevelzan. Okay, l'chaim v'levrocha. I don't know if this is water or mashke. Lach the Eibishter benchen und alle Memes al dienen dem Eibishter. And will dienen dem Eibishter, you gaito matzos atamin. Dav haravin. Every day a person's Adam v'amal yulad. Every day a Yid works on his Avedis HaTfilah, on his Limud HaTeirah, and his Avodah Neil Mazeh, whatever his Avodah is, Amal Teirah, Amal Sicha, Amal Malacha. And we should do it B'Simcha Rabbah. And the Eivisha should bless us that we should have a little Atzlocha. A little Atzlocha. And a little Nachas. And a little of all the other million things that we need. Chaim Lebracha. Chaim Lebracha. Chaim Lebracha. Chaim Tei Mishal. Chaim Lebracha. Chaim Lebracha. Yada 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 yada. I don't know what that is. La 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 ay la 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 ay la 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 ya la ya la ya la 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 hey la 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 hey la 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 אני לחסיד שניגן, חסיד שניגן, חסיד שניגן. יא ממה, יא ממה. ידה, ידה, יא ידה, 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 תרדה, יא ממה, ידה, ידה. La da ya da 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 la da ya da la da 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 ya da ya da ya ya da la da la da ya da la da. Oh my gosh, Menachem, where do you live? Brooklyn. I've been singing Shalom Aleichem. It's your son. Was machst du? Baruch Hashem. Good. Thank you for saying no. It's only because it's so long ago. Last week I forgot. That's a 30 Jahr today. Na. Da gesund. Was machen die Eltern? How are your parents? How are your parents? Your mother's okay, yeah? So does Tavis. Who's your shred? I wouldn't know. Haim, sag ich der heimische Jid. Heimische Jid lost wachsen. A little for Vestis. Oh, he's trying to knist it. Menachem, sei gesund. Ja, la Okay, Moshe, give us nothing. Give it Moshe, give us nachanigen.
Nachanigen?
Nachanigen.
No, please no. Oh, yina na na na, oh yina.
Yo, yira ra ra ra, oh yido, yo, yo, terero, yo, yo, yo. Oh, yada, yada, yo, yo, yada, yada, yada. Oh, yada, da, 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 yo, yada. Terera, yada, da, 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 yo, yada, yo, 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 yada. Oh, yada, yada. Ya 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 la la ya 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 la 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 ya 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 oh ya 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 la 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 ya 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 oh da ya 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 la 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 ya da ya 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 da oh ya ya da ya ya da ya la da la da ya 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 oh da da ya 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 la da la da la da terera ya 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 da da ya ya oh la da la da la da ya 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 da da ya ya la da la da da ya 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 da ya ya da oh yada ya la da la da ya la da la da la da la da ya la da la da la da la da yada Nachama la la ya 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 ada da ya da ya la da la da la hum ada ya 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 la da la da la da ya 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 ada da ya ya ada ya 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 da ya ya da ya da ya la dum la ya la da la da la da la da ay la da la da la da la da you da ya Okay, one more. You have to help me. No, ya da 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 la da la da la dum. Ya la da la da da ya la da la da na na. Ya mama ya mama. Ya da da ya la da la da la da dum. Ya la da la da da ya la da la da ya da 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 dum. Da da ya da 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 dum. Da 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 dum. Ya da da ya dum. Da da dum. Da da ya da dum. La da da ya la da da la nakhama la da dum. Da 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 dum. Da 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 dum. Da 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 dum. Da da ya da dum. Dum. Da ya da ya da la da da ya la da ya da la da ya da da ya la da la da la da ya la da la da da la da ya da ay 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 la da da la dum ay la da la da la da dum ay la da da ya la da da ya da 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 ya da 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 dum ay da da ya dum ay la ya da dum dum da ya da dum ay la da ya la da la da ay da dum da dum da dum ya da dum dum ya dum ay la da ya la da no nothing you know the Beralach. Tererai dai dai oh yerim oh yerim Tererai dai dai da da ya yerim oh yerim ya da 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 ya da yerim oh yerim Tere ya da 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 ya da yerim oh yerim Tere da ya da ya da ya da yerim oh yerim Tere da ya da ya da ya da yerim oh yerim Tere da 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 ya da da ya da da yo yedim nachama terera yeda yeda yedim yeda yeda da da ya yedim yeda ya da 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 yedim yeda da 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 ya da yedim yedim tere da ya da ya da ya da yedim yedim tere da ya da ya da ya da yedim tere da ya ya da da ya ya da da yo yedim yedim ya na na ho la do ya la da da la da ya na na ya na Tere ya da da ya da da ya da yerim tere da yo ya da da ya da ya da oh yedim nachama tere ya na na ya na na ya tere da 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 ya da 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 ya tere ya da da ya oh na ya yerim tere ya na na ya la da ay la da ya wa yerim tere ya da da ya na na ya da yerim tere da ya da da ya da mam oh yedim tere da na ya da ya na ya da ya na ya da ya yeda da 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 yeda ya wai nai da mai nai da mai la dam ai la da ya la da nam oh ya nai da mai nai da mai da 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 yeda ya wai nam Gib noch. Ah.
He has a request.
Who? Oh, this is this mitzvah's kapelli. Oh yeah, nanam. Oh yeah, dadam. Oh yeah, dadadai. Oh yeah, dadada. Yeah, dadada. Yeah, dadada. Yeah, dadada. Yeah, yeah, dadada. Yeah, dadada. Yeah, dadada. Ay la 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 la. Yeah, yeah, dadada. Yeah, dadada. Yeah, dadada. Oh la la ya ya na na ma ya na na ma ya na 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 ya la 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 ya 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 oh ya na na ma ya na na ma ya na 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 ay la 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 ya 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 oh ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la muy oh da da ya 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 da 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 oh la da ya la da da oh la da da ya 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 da 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 okay, Rabbi say wir machen eine heftig bis in kommen die chassidischen Farbrengen. If you eat a shear, you have to make a bracha achlena. Okay, a good moed. Mit mam zu mit shama an die chassidischen Farbrengen. Okay, nicht vergessen Menschen machen eine bracha achlena. Okay. Okay, wir sind chassidte Yeho, wir shalom tovalon heorem v'yagva yitzchot echamrin. וחלצי יסודיים רחב כי בשמחה סייתי יהוא ושלם טוב אלון לה 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 Hey, la 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 la.